Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're doing part 2 of the TOKI preview against the Worst Generation and Revolution Army 2. So the first clip is against Worst Generation. That was the team. Those are the supports. Let's do this. So, talking about TOKI, if you guys haven't checked out yesterday's video, I will leave a link in the description below. We did Heavenly Demon 1 and Heavenly Demon 2, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to TOKI because she's a very unique character. I have read some of the comments and I have taken into consideration some of your guys' feedback on this particular character, and there was a few questions that got raised in the comment section of the last video. Some people asked, is this a must-summon unit? Some people said that Roger and Yamato are, like, still, in terms of the most valuable units, they are the most valuable units. And look, don't get me wrong, Super Sugos, definitely, I would agree. They are definitely very high-value units. But when we are talking, like, just general characters, TOKI sort of flies under the radar because of what she can do. And if you guys, like I said in the previous video, if you guys know what's coming in the content, you can abuse TOKI to not only speedrun content, but to get through it very, very easily. She did struggle a little bit with Revolution Army 2, but that's because, like, she's designed on, like, pure power. But against Worst Generation, it was really interesting, and I really wanted to showcase this, because her ability to get around certain mechanics is just so unparalleled. And the big one for this particular content is actually Blow Away. On the final stage against the Worst Generation, you actually get your bottom row blown away. You actually lose 2 of your characters, which is a little bit annoying. The easiest way to get around that is to bring characters that are immune to this, or bringing a character like the Beach that can, like, be immune to Blow Away, using something like Kuma as your captain. That's another option for you guys. Or the Fire Tank Pirates, that's another character that is immune to Blow Away, or using something like General Frankie. But thanks to TOKI and her TOKI ability, you can actually get around that very, very easily. And it works very, very nicely. Not only that, but that 3.5 times attack and orb boost is definitely not something to scoff at. Once we get to the final stage, we'll actually see that. But I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because we have Ace. Totally forgot we had Ace on this team. Ace can apply the burn mechanic and actually gets through the Euro stage a little bit quicker than what most other teams actually can do. TOKI is an absolutely phenomenal legend. People ask me if she's a must-summon legend. Oh, a must-have legend. I wouldn't say she's a must-have legend. In terms of doing 3 multis on her banner, very, very good value. 130 gems for a chance at a recommended, or the guaranteed recommended character. Like, they are all fairly good characters. I guess Robin's probably the weakest of the actual recommended. But if you're missing all of them, 130 gems, like, it's not going to hinder your pocket that much moving into New Year's. But if you do want to skip her and then try and get her later down the track, I do understand as well. So no, she is not a must-have legend. In terms of valuable legends, though, she is very, very strong, and she's very, very powerful. And in my eyes, she's a lot of fun. For endgame players, like people that have all of these characters that can kind of just clear content and can do a lot of cool things very easily, TOKI's one of those characters that you really want to have in your box. She makes Garbs challenges very, very easy. She makes them very, very fun. And she makes Kazuna very, very cruisy. The big upside to this particular character is Kazuna. Obviously, the Kazuna legends are kind of designed for Kazuna per se. That way, you can just help you guys clear Kazuna a lot easier. With TOKI gives that 3.5 times attack, that 3.5 times orb boost. You can get around stuff like Despair and Blind. You can free up slots on your team. And even if the rest of your team gets, like, blinded, or, like, 3 of your characters get blinded, you can easily just bring, like, a Chain Locker, tap with 1 unit, use the 2 TOKIs to, like, do heaps of damage. And whenever you're versing a Dex boss, TOKI's just an absolute beast. Not only because she provides the attack, the orb boost, and getting around the mechanics, but she also gives the color affinity in her kit. The color affinity in her kit is great because it just helps out a lot with just team building in terms of freeing up an extra slot. With the release of the Straw Hat character as well, the combination of the Straw Hats as well as TOKI is just like an unparalleled combination. Now, I do think most people will skip Straw Hats, but later down the track, if you do manage to pick the Straw Hats up on something like a ticket, or on something like a treasure map reward, or something like a Rayleigh's Bazaar red ticket, something like that, you will be in a really good time, because if you run double Straw Hat as your captain and bring TOKI as a sub, and then apply the TOKI ability to the Straw Hats, when you have max HP, they are super effective against all types. They remove defense up and damage reduction abilities as well. So you can just do some absolutely crazy things with the combination of those 2 units. They're like a god tier sort of combination. Alright, so I just skipped forward ahead a little bit. Ideally, on this particular stage, against Law, Luffy, and Kid, you want Odin to become your captain. I don't really think it matters too much per se, but I really wanted to just get the super typing of Odin. Odin gives a bigger buff when you have Wano orbs as well. But as you guys will see here, we do have the Toki ability on our Usopp, and we have it on our Zoro. It gets that sort of white glow around them, as well as the 2-turn counter. And now that that's passed, they're immune to that blow away that Kid normally provides. And then they get the 3.5 times attack and orb boost. With this particular team, that's all we're using to take down the final stage. And the big downside to Toki is whenever you use the Toki ability and you have the 3.5 times attack and orb boost, and there is more than like 2 enemies, you can struggle for damage. But as you can see here, she's an absolute weapon, an absolute beast. A very, very strong legend, rightfully for a Kizuna legend, and that was Worst Generation, which she does very, very cruisy. So, that was Worst Gen. Let's move on to Rev 2 now. Alright, so moving on to Revolutionary Army 2 now. This is the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive in. Now, it did take me a little while to finesse this particular team. Mainly because, as I've been rambling on about, the big downside to Toki is you need to know what's coming. You need to know you need to be able to see the future like the girl herself. And if you can't, like, see the future and you don't know what's coming, it can be a little bit tricky to finesse her Toki ability. The downside to these particular videos, as you see too, is I'm actually using the friend captain, the Bandai friend captain. So if you guys have a friend Toki that has cotton candy, that has limit break, it will be a lot easier, especially because this character has pinch healing, which does help out a lot when it comes to Revolutionary Army 2. But it did take me like a little bit to tweak this particular team. Now, unfortunately, I did have to include the Kizuna Rare Recruit Bond Clay. He is completely replaceable, however. You can replace him with the free-to-play Morley. I just can't be bothered farming up the free-to-play Morley, so like I just kind of like whatever. And then use something like the support of Vivi. So when you do come around to the Morley stage himself, you should have the damage regardless, because you get like a conditional boost, you get a color affinity boost with that support of Vivi, and we'll talk about it once we get there, because like you should be okay. I haven't tested it, so let me know in the comment section below if you guys do use Morley. I would highly recommend using the Vivi support to get color affinity. But let me know, like I said, if you've tested that, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm really interested to see how the actual team performs. I do imagine, in terms of my internal calculations, I do imagine it will be absolutely fine, but look, you're not going to know until you try, right? On the hack stage, we are going to use our Sobermask special to give ourselves a full board of tandem orbs and an attack boost, and then we're going to use Chopper. Chopper can remove the attack down that they apply, and Chopper also gives us 3 turns of healing. Because we need to get our Chopper special back, we're actually going to hang around here for a little while. We may as well take the 3 turns. Hack doesn't do anything until the 3rd turn, so we may as well use that healing to our advantage to sort of get some of our cooldowns back, namely for Chopper. If you have your Chopper limit break expanded, you can probably move on here, but before you move on from this particular stage against Hack, you really want to make sure you use your friend captain or your Toki, Momo, and Hiyori special, and you really want to apply it to the 2 Tokis. That way you can get around any of the effects, especially the Bind and the Despair that will be coming on the very next turn. I actually like to use this time against Hack to farm up 2 orbs on Toki, or at least 1 orb on one of our Tokis. That way you are just going to be able to take out both the Kamakamas in the back. The Invincom stage gives us 4 turns of Bind and Despair on our captains, as well as Special Reverse on our captains in our middle row. Because we have that Toki effect, it's not going to apply to our captains. We can just totally bypass the Bind, totally bypass the Despair, and totally bypass the Special Reverse for our captains, which is super nice. We are going to pop the super typing of the Toki that use their special. That's not only going to give us 5 turns of cooldown, but it's also going to give us 2 turns of color affinity to our strength characters, and that way we can both like take out the the Dex character in the back left, and then with our Toki that has an orb, we can take out the red-headed girl in the back. We are going to take our time here against Ivankov. Hopefully you guys get some good orb rolls. But with Chopper having color affinity, it works quite nicely and just helps us out taking out Ivankov. Make sure you're hitting your perfects. Liberal Hind can give some cooldowns as well. Liberal Hind and your perfects will give you some healing back as well. Toki's ability to heal on perfects is very, very nice. Plus, a lot of these characters have pinch healing as well, which is definitely going to come into play later. So make sure you have maxed out your pinch healing on like Sobermask and your Toki. Remember, I'm using the friend captain Toki from Bandai, so there's no limit break. If you have a good friend, you'll have even more pinch healing as well. Onto Sabo Koala, they make all orbs unfavorable except for tandem slots, and this is where Sobermask is an absolute god. He is actually the glue to this particular team, and without his Sailor abilities just popping off specials, it'd be very, very difficult to actually get this done. On this stage, we are actually just going to take out both Koala and Sabo on the very first turn. You just really want to save your Toki until the final shot. take out Sabo with the, Koala with the rest of your units, and then take out Sabo with that one Toki. Hitting all your perfects is going to give you a lot of healing, and as you can see, when we move into the Morley stage, we're basically going to be at max HP. On the Morley stage, he puts up 2 turns of defense, 2 turns of threshold, and has 5 turns of resilience. With the support of Kazuna Brook, we can actually remove the 2 turns of defense up. But if you're using Morley here, Morley's actually going to halve the defense. I would still use the Brook support, that way you get rid of the defense as well. But with this team, we have color affinity thanks to our Bond Clay. Bond Clay removes the threshold and the resilience. Morley would do the same. But on this particular stage, you would have a conditional boost against defense down as well as that color affinity from the VV, as I was talking about earlier, the treasure map VV, if you guys have that VV. I'm using Jinbei. If you don't have the VV, just use that Jinbei special support. That way you can get a chain boost to make Sober Mask hit very hard. On the second turn, we're going to pop our Toki ability once again. We're only doing this so we get the Sober Mask special. With the Sober Mask special, we can get an attack boost, a full border orbs. Because we get a chain lock, we really need that extra damage to take out Morley on that second turn. Moving on to Bello Betty and the girls around the outside. They're going to give us 3 turns of paralysis and 3 turns of attack down. And as you can see, because we had the Toki ability, our captains don't get paralyzed. So that's what I mean by like avoiding mechanics. The big ones are paralysis, special bind, special reverse, blind, despair, blow away, captain swap, slot seal, like anything that basically affects that character's like position on the board. You will bypass that basically. We are basically going to use our Kaku special here to remove the rest of the paralysis and the attack down. We're going to take out the units in the back, and then we're going to start focusing on Bello Betty. We want to actually get our Kaku special back at this point. I do have my Kaku Limit Break expanded, and that's going to help you guys out a lot. Make sure you guys are hitting your perfects here. But don't stress, because we are going to use the Chopper special in the next turn, so we are going to get quite a bit of healing back. On the third turn, I think it is, Bello Betty's going to respawn the girls, so make sure that you hit your perfects here, just so you can get your pinch healing, so that way you can get your healing. And ideally, you just want to hit all your perfects so you actually just take out Bello Betty and you don't take that extra shot. I actually had some meat orbs, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to eat the meat orbs to get some more healing, but if you actually take out Bello Betty there, the pinch healing you get from Toki's captain and not taking that 17k would just be way more beneficial. Moving on to Lindbergh now. He gives us a full board of unfavorable orbs, blinds our top right, bottom right, middle left, and gives us 4 turns of paralysis. I'm going to use the Sober Mask special here. You probably don't need to use the Sober Mask special here because we do want to stall on Lindbergh. And then I actually use the super typing of Toki. Again, you probably want to save those, to be honest, because we do want to stall here. And utilizing those unfavorable orbs is going to do significantly less damage to Lindbergh, and that way you can actually hit your perfects and get more healing back with Toki. So I kind of stuffed this up a little bit, because like as soon as my strength characters hit, like they're going to do busted damage. Like as you can see, like we're hitting misses, like, and they are just clapping the boy Lindbergh. So ideally, save the super typing. Probably don't use the Sober Mask special, just save it. Like it doesn't matter like whether you use it or not, because we're not hitting that hard. But we do get the healing from Chopper, which is really, really nice. And that way you can like just get more healing back, and you will be in for a good time there. You can use the super typing on the second turn. That way you can just easily take out Lindbergh, and then you can move on to the Karasu stage. Against Karasu, he puts up 2 turns of threshold and gives us 2 turns of despair. This is where things get a little bit shaky, because we only have 26,000 HP, or just under 26,000. And the big problem with this stage is he hits us for like 14k. We want to make sure we use one of our Toki specials. That way we can apply it to our Sober Mask and our Kaku. They're the ones that have the highest attack, and they don't have type disadvantage against against Karasu. So just make sure you are applying it to it. Sober Mask definitely has the highest attack, and then it's either Chopper or Kaku, depending on what you've done with those units. I did manage to pick up a meat orb here, but I didn't eat it for the sake of the video. As you can see, just with pinch healing and the Liberal Hind, we can manage to get our HP just high enough to tank another shot from Karasu. Remember, you will have more pinch healing than I did with a friend Captain Toki as well, so you should be fine just with a bit of cotton candy here and there as well. After the second turn passes, we get the 3.5 times attack and orb boost. We're going to use our Sober Mask special just to give us a full board of orbs. We're then going to use Kaku special only so we get Sober Mask's cooldown. Then we're going to wrap it up with this beautiful, beautiful Toki special. That way we can apply the Toki ability to our 2 quick units, that is Kaku and Sober Mask. Honestly, doesn't even matter that you apply to 2. Just apply to Sober Mask. He does enough damage at the end to just absolutely decimate the final stage. We do have color affinity though with the Kazuna Bond Clay special. So if you guys aren't using the Kazunabon clay, obviously if you're a global player and you are watching this video, he's not actually out yet, you will be using Morley. So ideally, you will need both characters to be hitting. On the final turn as well, you can only use 2 specials, so it's very, very important that you do have a special ready to go. Because as you can see, Soba Mask is just 1 special shy of being at max cooldown. If you have him Limit Break expanded, I think he gets 1 turn to cooldown, I think. So you should be fine. But as long as you have like your Morley special back ready to go, you just want to pop it on the final stage. Even if it literally does nothing. Like, you're only using it so you get that 4 turn to cooldown on Soba Mask. I am actually utilizing the Brûlé support. So you only really need to do that if you don't have the Brûlé support. If you don't have the Brûlé support, you can get the Soba Mask special back, and that way you can do it that way. But if you are using Brûlé, like, don't even worry about popping any other special on this final turn, because literally just with Soba Mask and Kaku, you'll have more than enough damage to take out poor Sabo and Koala. Like, as you can see, like, Soba Mask hits for 24 mil, divide that by 2 with the Color Affinity hitting for 12 mil, and then you got Kaku to back it up there with his 3.5 times attack and orbs as well. So that's going to wrap up the video, guys, and the preview of TOKI. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Let me know if you'll be summoning too, and while you're down there, don't forget to belt that like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too, but guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy that today. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Leeds!